Yes, people. How are we doing? I hope you're all well. Me and Lee are back. We're surviving the heat just. And we're in a very, very positive mood because there's some very, very big news coming out of Arsenal that we're very excited about. That I'm going to let Lee announce because I think he's probably as excited, if not a bit more excited than me. And I'll bring it up. Make sure you hit the like, people. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're following Lee Judges on all socials. Make sure if you're not a part of a subscriber of this channel that you are hitting subscribe now. Make sure if you do want to follow Football's 12th Man and myself, then you know where to go. Football's 12th Man and Dan Arsenal 87. I'll tell you what, Lee, I'll let you kind of go into it and I'll bring it up as you're talking about it because this news has excited us today, isn't it?
News, it's the signing of the season. It's the Arsenal have just won the transfer window. It's done. It's dusted. Everybody now is happy. Arsenal have finally got rid of Camden Hells. The Hells is gone. It's gone. Look at that. Look at that. Proper beer. Back at the Emirates. It's been 3 years. But there it is. And then not only it's a top. This is elite. We've gone elite. We're not Aldi no more, Dan. This is the Declan Rice of beers. You know what I mean? It's up there. It is up there. And I don't care what they do in the transfer window now, because even if the football's crap, I can get pissed now where I couldn't before. I tell you this now, I can sit in there with me 6 beers and forget about the Arsenal. I couldn't do it with that crap. At the end of the day, Dan, I was drinking white wine and lemonade for 3 years. I'm now finito. I'm back on the beer. I cannot wait to get back to the Emirates. Thank you at long last, Arsenal. You can forget about your new kit. You can forget about your striker. Just have a look at that, people. Done and dusted today. Out of the blue. That's what I love about this football club. There was none of this. We're going here. We're going there. We're linked with I don't know, Madri or Cruz Camp. Oh no links. Bosh delivered. What a signing! Well done, Arsenal. Well done.
Look, Cronkies are doing bits. Asahi through the door. Let's be honest. Very nice beer if you haven't tried it. There is a rumour that it's only going to be £12 a pint as well next season. No, I don't know how much.
It's about £12 a pint. I know that.
I bet it will.
You watch it go right up now. You watch the old prices go.
I bet it will. I bet it will. What was it last year? Was it just under 7? Now I bet it's about 7.50 now. You watch, because Twickenham's 7.50. I think that's the most expensive I've been when I went rugby. But I think it's about 6.90. I think for a pint. But I reckon it'll go up to about 7.30, something like that. I bet you any money. Yeah, it'll go up. But Asahi Judges has come in before a striker. And
listen, because where I sit, I get a few free of them. Like I haven't been drinking. I can't drink it. I
have to drink the cider. I have to drink the cider. I can't drink hell.
Worst drink ever. I'll tell you what, I've been in pubs and nothing. Do you know when you go up there and they've got all that? I have to walk out. But the thing is, with the Emirates, you can't do that. It's your football, you know what I mean? But I've just set up. I can't. It's just the worst beer I've ever had. When I first signed up for the club level one, they was doing Heineken, which was very nice and everything like that. And then got me money, and then they put in this hell stuff, you know what I mean? And, oh my God, it's been awful. And I've been really, not enjoying. I've been not enjoying my drink, and I've not been drinking. I'll tell you what, I might put on a stone in weight now, but I don't know. I don't care, you know what I mean? I've got to make up for it over the next few weeks. I am going to be drinking quite a few. And I'll tell you what, I don't care. There was sometimes, Dan, I'm going to be really honest, those sort of like Europa League games or a real boring game in midweek and you're 2-0 up already at half-time or even 3-0 up and, it's freezing cold out there in the Waynes. We used to get a couple of beers, just watch it on the TV and everything like that, Those days are gone because I couldn't drink with the beer, but now the beer's back. I ain't going to moan so much. I'd say that now. It's going to be back.
What a transfer. Beer we go. There we go. I like that
here we go. That's all you got to say. And I'll tell you this now, also I've got to say this, right? They do it in the hotel in Dubai. It's a nice beer. It's not my favourite. I'm going to not lie. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're looking for a striker, Gyökeres, and it's no Isak, right? Of beers. It's not the Isak of beers. In my opinion, that's Madri. I love Madri. If Madri was on there, I think, like, you know, I wouldn't be coming home. I don't benefit. But Madri, at least I can, you know what I mean? Where are you? I'm still in the Emirates, so you know what I mean. I won't be able to drag me out of there with the old Madrid. So it's a good sign. It's a good beer, good signing, and yeah, I'm buzzing for that. It's the best bit of news. You know what I mean? Like, I got more excited about than Zubamendi or Norgard or Kepa. This is the one. Then Cronkies doing bits, as I said on the thing. They have done it again. Those Cronkies for me. Excellent news there, like, you know, and you never know, it might entice some of the families of like Eze or Gyökeres to sign because they go, do you know what? They've got decent beer at the Emirates again.
They recognise the beer as being decent. Gunner Down Under has become a member. Thank you so much, bro. And also, the legend has only gone and gifted 10 memberships to the Crack Chat as well. You're a legend, man. Thank you so much for that, bro. That means the world.
What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Tell me what does
that means that he has decided to allow 10 other people to be members in his chat, which is unbelievable. So he's paid for them. So big up to you, bro. I really appreciate that. We really do.
See what happens when you get a decent beer. This is what happens.
Decent beer. He's even giving me mum a membership. Look, unbelievable. So yeah, quality. No, big up to you, man. I really appreciate that. Gunner Down Under, and thank you so much for becoming a member as well. If you would like to be a member, you can click join and become a member like Gunner Down Under. But big up to you, my bro. I really appreciate that. We can finally drink in the Emirates. My dad has the Pale Ale. He don't mind that, Camden. He can't drink the lager. It's absolutely horrendous. I used to have to drink Magners because I couldn't drink any of it. It was just absolutely disgusting. So now let's see what Sahi's like. I have had it before. I do quite like it. I'm with you, though, Judge. It ain't my absolute favourite. It's not a Peroni or a Madri or a Beretti or something like that, but it is an okay beer. So at least we can actually have it now. I'd have actually been happy just sticking with Carlsberg instead of that Camden Ales. Real talk. Or Budweiser. I'd rather have either of those than bloody Camden Ales. Do you know what I mean? So, look, at least they've changed it now. Asahi's come in, and it's a hell of a lot better. So, I appreciate that.
We're happy.
Mr. Bots, keep up the content. And Lee, you're the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Look at that. What a compliment, eh? Legend. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it, bro. Look, there is actually some news. I know we were having a laugh with that, and we are actually genuinely excited about that because that is one thing that at least we can now do when we go to the Emirates is have a beer. But it does look like Eze is being mentioned a lot today, Lee, and there's a lot of talk about him potentially being spoken about, and we've contacted his camp about speaking to the player. Now, I know that both of us are a fan of him. I know that we're quite, into what Eze's about. And it's come from Fabrizio Romano, which is a fairly reliable link, to be fair. I know there's a lot of sources out there, but a lot of people say that Romano's up there. He says that Arsenal have made contact with Eze's camp over the weekend. Contacts are taking place for Palace with the Arsenal informed on deal conditions, and Tottenham remain also keen on Eze. So this is massive interest at the moment. It doesn't sound like we've got personal terms agreed or a fee agreed or anything like that, but it certainly looks like he's a player coming in. Now, my question to you, other than the obvious, which is what you think of Eze as a player, where does he come in and play? A lot of people are saying he comes in and starts left wing. Some are saying that he comes in more centrally. Some are saying he might be a bit of a squad versatile player. What do you see his position as long-term, Lee?
I see him as being a player that's going to help us rotate. So I think he can play wide left, wide right. He can play down the middle, like in place of Odegaard, who, as Russ was saying in the chat earlier on, you can't, if he's having a 4 out of 10 game all of a sudden, he can't afford to have a 4 out of 10 game because this guy comes in. But I also think he can play in this wide sort of left role as well, So I think that there's positions which he can fill. Now, whether he's going to go on and be a dominant player or not, I don't know. But I think for say, for instance, when you're playing a low block team at home, maybe He's the answer to play on the left because he's got the little trickery and things like that, where it's not just actual pace. But then when you play against a team away from home, Martinelli comes in there. It may be then that he goes into a different position. I don't really see where I say, right, he's nailed on for this position. I think he's a very, very good player in all sorts of positions. I'm not in this camp where we desperately need a wide player. Now, people go, oh, well, we don't. I'm a big Martinelli fan. I still think that, you know, he can still do it. Like, you know, if you go and buy Rodrigo or someone like that, you know, it's basically like pushing Martinelli out. This doesn't push Martinelli out. This keeps him very active in the squad as well, like, you know, and that's what you need. I don't think we need, this is my beef at the moment about backups. We need backup players, yes, like, you know, like the central defender, good backup for Saliba, good deal, like, you know, goalkeeper backup, like, yeah. But what we need now is midfield players, what I call rotation players, like, you know, that are good enough to start and they're good enough to rotate. So we've got them as well. You've got your Saka, who probably isn't in that group, but then the rest of maybe Declan Rice, well, definitely Declan Rice and Odegaard. But then you've got others like Martinelli, Havertz, centre forward, whoever it may be, all can be rotated and put in. And you think, well, he's just as good as him and he's just as good as him. And the team level doesn't drop. I'm sorry. Norgard's a very, very good player. But when you're going to leave out Zubimendi or Declan Rice, there's a drop-off, like, you know. But when you're playing Eze instead of Martinelli, I don't think there's much of a drop-off then. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think that's what we need to do. And he needs headaches, Dan. Mikel needs headaches where we've got a massive game coming up. I'm not too sure who I'm going to play here today. You know, not, I've got no choice to play him there. Oh, so we can put Marino up front and all that, like, you know. No, we've got positions now where you think, well, he can come in there and he can do the job. And it's a good balance for the squad. And he has to be put at, well, not having problems, but good problems, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, you know, at the I think a lot of last season, it was like, oh, I've got to do this and got to do that. But I want him to be sitting there going, I've got 3 options to play at wide left today, or 3 options to play in midfield. I don't know what one I'm going to go for. Like, you know, those sort of problems. Not like, oh, well, if we stick Marino there and we've got so and so to come back there, that is what we need. And I think that this would be the sort of signings that we need. I've always said, we'll probably get the one massive one up front that's going to be the real game changer. The rest will be ones that maybe not as exciting, but will make us stronger in the long term, like, you know. And does Eze make us better in a better 11? Yeah, maybe he does, maybe he don't. But I tell you what, like, if he is playing, it doesn't weaken the team, Dan. And that's the difference between strengthening it and being weaker. If he comes in, it's just as good as what you're bringing in, like, you know. Not weakening things. And I think that's the problem we've made with a couple of signings, maybe over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. Look, I really like Eze. And I remember I did a show with Turkish and Curtis not too long ago. And I said I wanted Rodrigo, Gyökeres and Eze. They were the 3 players that I felt that we need. Now, I think Eze can actually come in and actually give Odegaard some serious competition. And his performances carry on. Eze can actually displace him in the first team, in my humble opinion. I also believe there's a left attacking 8 position for him to play if he wanted to. I know Declan Rice has got that space at the moment, but if we were to drop him in the 6 for a game or maybe part of a game, then we have Eze in the left attacking midfield role. I think he can do that in the left 8. But also I know that he can play wide because he has for England and Crystal Palace. So I do think this is a very good signing. What I don't want it to do is prevent us from getting another attacker. Now, I don't mean a striker because I think we're going to get a striker, whatever. But I actually think if we can't get Rodrigo, that Eze and Rodgers would be very good still. Or Eze and Kudus. I know Kudus is being linked with Spurs today and Chelsea today. But these are the sort of players that I think can come in, not as good as Rodrigo, because I don't think you're going to get that. But Eze and Lookman or Eze and Rodgers would be a very good window still. Not quite the elite because Rodrigo's that guy. But for me, I still think that Eze would be a very good signing alongside them. What I don't really want, Lee, is Sesko and Eze coming in. I don't think that's enough. I really don't. I think Sesko and Eze coming in is good, but where's the other one that makes us go, whoa, that's the one? I don't think either of those signings at the moment. Let's say our window is as expected with the players we link with. Kepa, Norgard, Zubimendi, obviously Mosquera coming in, they reckon, at centre-half, Eze and Sesko. I don't think that's going to make people go, oh, dear, Arsenal are winning some serious stuff. I think it needs to be that elite after Eze. I think we need to go and get Rodrigo and Gyökeres after Eze for people to do that. And that's not me being negative because I want Eze. I just think that what happens after Eze is now interesting for me. Do they go Eze now? He's covered 3 positions. That means we stop now. We go all out for the striker. We're done. Or do we actually go and get the 2 attackers everyone says we want? So that for me is going to be really interesting as to what happens. Now, I'm not saying that we're definitely signing Eze because it's only talks at the moment. But if we were to get him, I don't think it's job done. I still think there's another position that we need alongside a striker. And I know what you're saying about Martinelli and Trossard, and I get that. But I think one of them's going. I really do. I think one of them's going. I don't think we're keeping both of them if Eze and this guy come and Rodrigo come. Why are we linked with Rodrigo? If we didn't need another left winger, Arteta's been wanting a left winger since the Mudryk days, mate. So he definitely wants another left-sided player. And I think that if we keep Trossard and Martinelli and Eze and that winger, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's potentially he might have too many there. So one of them might need to go. But look, I'm a huge fan of Eze and I hope we do it. But I don't think it is enough to get excited that we're going to go win the league. We need, on top of Eze, those 2 quality players. That's, in my eyes, are Rodrigo and Gyökeres. That's the sort of window I think we need, Lee.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a great point. I think that if Eze does come, I think that may be the end of Trossard, right? But if it is the case, then I still think you need someone else on top of, you're losing Trossard, you still need to bring somebody else in. So, because where would Trossard get his games? You know what I mean? If you've got Martinelli, I don't know. So that's a very interesting point. Didn't think of that. So it could be that they do go out for another wide player and everything like that. It's hard. If we got Sesko and we got Eze, it does improve us up front a little bit. Like, is it enough to win us a league? That's a big question that you're asking. But I think if that was the case, we brought them 2 in, I would be happy. I know, like, you'd probably be more if it was Sesko and Gyökeres, you'd be Gyökeres and Eze, you'd be more happier, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm getting at, really, is I like the Eze signing, but I don't like the Eze signing if he's the goosebump signing. Does that make sense? Yeah,
you want Gyökeres. I get that, like, you know what I mean? So,
and Rodrigo. These are the ones that I want. Like, I understand and appreciate that Eze is realistic and that Eze is a really good signing. But if Eze is coming in as the needle mover, I'm not sure it is one. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, you know, that Sesko coming in as well. I without being horrible, now if Sesko comes in, I'm not so sure if he moves the needle. He might well do, but he might move the dial more than anybody. We don't know. There's a little bit of I don't know with that signing, like, where I think with Gyökeres, you're saying that I think it would be a little bit of a game changer. Yeah. So, but in saying that, listen, I've been moaning that we need a striker. If it was Sesko, I'm not going to moan. I'm going to go with it, like, you know. But I hear what you're saying. I don't think is it much of a mover if you brought in Sesko and Rodrigo? Would you say that's more of a mover? I'm not so sure, Dan, like, you know, because there's still that uncertainty about both players playing the Premier League.
It's all uncertainty. It is all uncertainty because Rodrigo. Yeah. Let's just take those 3 players: Rodrigo, Sesko, and Gyökeres. Eze isn't really an uncertainty because he's doing it in the Prem for Palace, and he's going to be a good player.
That's my point. Yeah.
Whereas the other 3 are all risks because you don't know what. And let's put Ekitike into the conversation in a minute. We'll bring him up. They're all question marks because they ain't played in this league, right? Rodrigo might come and be an Anthony flop, for all we know, right? Gyökeres could come and be a Darwin Núñez flop, for all we know. But they're less of a risk, in my opinion, than a Sesko, because Sesko for me is in another league just like them. He ain't in the Prem. And his stats, I mean, Rom's told me today he's actually regressed in the last 2 years, Sesko. I didn't realise that in terms of his stats. But also, I look at the eye test and I just don't think that it's impressive enough for me to go, core, yeah, hairs on the back of my neck, goosebumps. This is a sign in Sesko. This is the one. Whereas Gyökeres, I think, is less of the risk for that. And some people say it wouldn't do that to them either. That's fine. But I look at look, if Sesko would have got 10 goals, I wouldn't be talking about him, would I, Lee? Yeah. If Gyökeres would have got less goals than Sesko this year, do you think I'd be talking about him, hyping him up? Of course I wouldn't. Right? It's what they're doing on the pitch. You use your eyes. I look at Sesko and he's flattered to deceive. He's not impressed me. Gyökeres, I'm like, he's done it in the Champions League. Cool, hat-trick against City. Wow, club and country now. Jesus, three seasons in the trot. He's got over this amount of goals and assists. I look at Rodrigo. You just don't need to look at goals and assists. Look at the eye test. The guy's a baller, yeah? When you look at Eze, you think he's a baller. But he's got to come in alongside these two, in my opinion. If we enter the window and we get Sesko and Eze, I'm sorry, but that does not excite me. Now, I'm happy because we've got players in, right? Along with the others that we link with. But let's be real. That is not a window that makes me think we're going to get ahead of Liverpool and City. And I know I keep going on about it, but that is the benchmark now, judges, isn't it? Liverpool and Manchester City are where we're looking at, you know?
I get that. And, it's like João Pedro is now like, that was out of the blue, him going to Chelsea. Like, if Arsenal got him, would it be a needle changer? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of it, like. But I don't know if someone put this in the chat or I've been looking while we're going. There is links. You remember Jhon Duran, who was at Aston Villa?
He's on to Fenerbahce, isn't he?
Is that true? Or
yeah, he's going to Fenerbahce apparently. Now I don't know if it's a loan or if it's a.
Well, why are we in for that? Now, would you be happy with him, or is it? Well, we got to get better than that.
I think we've got to get better than that, but I do like him. I'm happy with him coming in alongside Gyökeres. But I don't think that he's going to come to Arsenal for... Isn't it only a loan, or am I got that wrong?
I don't know.
It's a loan. Look, they're saying in the chat it's a loan. Yeah, it's only a loan. But, I mean, you take it for a loan for a season, wouldn't you? And then he goes back to Saudi. If it's for the season, is it, or is it not? I haven't looked at it properly.
He's only just gone there, like, in January, and already now he's being loaned out. What's all that about?
Yeah, I don't know, if I'm honest. Maybe I haven't read that right. I don't know. Someone in the chat let us know about that. If Duran is actually a loan or what that is, because...
Well, if that is the case, I'll be all over that like a rash. I really would. I'm a big fan of his. Why is that not...
Yeah, it's a loan to Fenerbahce. What, for the season or... Yeah, it's a loan. But I don't understand how long for, because all the timings are different, aren't they? In terms of the season and stuff, aren't they? I don't know. For Saudi League and all that. So I don't know how long the loan is for. So what I don't want to do is get him and then he goes at Christmas. That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. How long is it for? Is it until May, end of the season, or is it? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. Look,
I would have paid like the money in January for him and been very, very happy. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems a little bit weird that we're letting people go a little bit, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, don't you think?
What do you mean?
Well, we're letting these sort of players go over. You know what I mean?
Okay. We're not looking at them. You mean like we're happy for Duran to go?
Yeah. Like we're like, sort of like.
I mean, Duran. Villa wanted to keep Duran ahead of Watkins, and we were linked with Watkins, not Duran. It's weird, really. But look, I like Jhon Duran. I don't think he's going to get 30 goals a season for Arsenal, but he's certainly a player that I do like, and he would come in and be an upgrade. But I would prefer Gyökeres to Duran because the goal ratio is scary compared to Duran. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Duran, I don't know how many goals he's been scoring, Duran, but it's not even better than Havertz, I don't think. Not that I'm saying he's worse because he's a very good player, but what's he got? Duran, I don't even know what Duran's got for what do you call it?
Sort of not really bothered about once he went to the Saudi League, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got 8 goals in 13, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
12 goals for Villa in 55 games. Nothing spectacular.
No, I suppose it's not as exciting as what you think, but I do think he's a very, very good player.
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
But again, a lot of potential in that. You know, so
Yeah, look, I mean, let's go to the striker quick because obviously people talking about Gyökeres, then it's a Sesko day, then it's a Gyökeres day again, then it's a Sesko day again. Well, at the moment, another name has come to the fold. Hugo Ekitike, yesterday being linked. Apparently, Bard had been saying that he is a serious option for Arsenal. Voices are saying that if Arsenal can't significantly negotiate a price for Gyökeres or Sesko and a higher fee would be required for a new striker anyway, then Ekitike will become a real attraction. You were saying off air before we went live that you spoke to a mate of yours. You said, just to let you know, we won't end up getting Sesko or Gyökeres. It will be someone else. Maybe that's the someone else, Lee. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, we was having a conversation yesterday, and he just said that I put £50 on the table now, and said I bet Arsenal don't sign Gyökeres or Sesko. It'd be somebody else. You know what I mean? It's weird that he said that, and then all of a sudden Duran's come available, and now we're listen. It took me 6 months to learn Gyökeres' name, like not this new one, like you know what I mean.
Ekitike. Ekitike. Yeah.
Sheesh. So, you know, I don't know how it is. We'll have to wait and see. Like, lots of things are going to happen now from tomorrow, aren't they? Like, you know, contracts run out today. New sheets are put in today. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But listen, he's been linked with a couple of clubs. I think Chelsea were interested in him as well. Like, you know what I mean? So. And these Isak rumours today, I don't know, it was put in the chat earlier on. I don't know whether to believe that he has told Newcastle that he
apparently it's come from Di Marzio, who's really unreliable, but people are now losing their minds about this and saying that Isak said he wants to leave. And I tell you this, I personally believe Liverpool will put a bid in. I don't know that they're going to get him, but I think Liverpool are serious about putting a bid in. And if they're putting the bid in, Lee, we have to put a bid in as well.
Yeah, of course
we
you
have
do.
to. Whether he wants to go to Liverpool or not or Arsenal is not my point. If they put in 120, we've got to put in 125. That's what my point is. Because we've got to be serious with it, innit? We've got to be going in for them if they're in for him. We can't let him go to Liverpool because that is game, set and match if they get him.
The only thing that I look at that is if... a little bit like the Declan Rice one. Man City tried, but they couldn't because we'd already done all the yards. There surely must have been contact with his representatives at some stage to see what's the how does the land lie. You know what I mean? I think that no, he's definitely not interested in leaving Newcastle. Yes, he's interested in losing Newcastle. Yes, if you could get a deal, he would like to come to Arsenal. If he had a preference, he'd probably like to go to Liverpool. All those conversations could have happened. We don't know. It seems to have happened with other players in the past. So why wouldn't it be with them? I look at the very interesting one was with the Ben White one when, that they was putting a bill. He said, don't panic. We will get you. Don't worry about it. And that went on a little bit. So if they'd done that with Ben White, maybe they'd done that with... who they're ever trying to sign now. So we'll have to wait and see. So, listen, I don't know about you. If Arsenal and Liverpool do go for him and he does decide to go to Liverpool, I look at that. I won't be losing my head over it. He just prefers Liverpool over Arsenal. It's sometimes it does come down to preference. You know what I mean? So, but we'll have to wait and see on that one, Dan. It just seems like it's a little bit quiet. Newcastle ain't doing nothing. If I'm Isak and all that, the first question, I don't think I'd be wanting to leave Newcastle, but what I would want to be doing is seeing what was on offer to make me feel that I could win things at Newcastle. Now, someone was jumped down the front and say, oh, they won the Carabao Cup last year. I'm talking the big uns. Are they going to compete in the Champions League? Are we going to compete for the title? And I think that these are the big ones that the questions have got to be asked.
Well, that's the one that makes everyone go, wow. If Arsenal signed Isak, everybody in the whole of the world would go, right, they're serious. They've got to go win the league and the Champions League now. Now, that's how big of a signing that would be. Yeah. And I would take it. The problem I've got is keep being asked this question, and I keep flipping and flopping with it. If I said to you, you can get Gyökeres and Rodrigo for 150 or Isak for 150, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the proven goal scorer in the Premier League that's going to get you across the line? Or would you rather go for Rodrigo and Gyökeres and fill two positions that are going to start in the first 11? It's a very hard one.
I know where you're coming from there. So, that's the decision. Because say if anything happens to Isak, you've put all your eggs into one basket, and you're like, you know what I mean? But like, if we sign Isak, Arsenal or Liverpool sign Isak, right, then the dial moves significantly.
Oh, massively, yeah. I still think he'll stay at Newcastle, by the way, but
you just
got to go with the rumours, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're just going off rumours a minute. But that would be a massive dial mover. I don't think anybody else, we were talking about this earlier on the Forever Arsenal, like, Juan Pedro, like, Pedro. Is that a dial mover for Chelsea? He's a very, very good player. I don't think it's a massive dial mover, like, if he come to Arsenal, I don't think we'd be all going mad about it, like, I mean, that's nothing against him or whatever he could well be. So I don't think there is that many dial movers about, I think that Man City might have moved the dial, definitely moved the dial a little bit. Liverpool have moved the dial up a little bit. Arsenal moved the dial a little bit with Declan Rice, and then the dial's gone back, in my opinion, over the last sort of three or four transfers. If we be honest about it, like we're saying that we're happy with Eze and all that, but when is the next time Arsenal are going to buying a player down that's going to improve the 11, make our 11 better?
Yeah.
We haven't done that for a while. I think the next two signings that come through the door, like, Zubimendi, a great player, but is he better? Is he improved than the 11? He might have.
He's replaced Partey, but he's not better than him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and he might be leveling, but I'm talking about improving the 11. Now, the last time we done that was the window with Declan Rice, and I would have to say, like, the last one was David Raya. Now, I think that he did improve the goalkeeping.
But Timber, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, Timber as well took about a year, but Timber come into that, was in that.
Yeah, got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in that transfer window as well. If you look at last season, Calafiori, Marino were our two big signings. If we played a cup final in the Champions League and everybody was fit, they wouldn't start.
Agreed.
This season now, as I say, Zubimendi's coming in. I don't think he improves the 11. We're playing it now because Thomas Partey's gone. But say if Thomas Partey had signed his contract, I don't think we'd all be saying Zubimendi at this moment in time would have proved to be a better player. So we have got to make some signings definitely up front to say, do you know what, that improves our front line.
Yeah, look, the attack for me, I've put a poll in the chat just to see where people's heads are out because I keep flipping and flopping over this myself. But there's been over 100 votes. Would you rather spend 150 million on Isak or both Rodrigo and Gyökeres? And 77% say they'd rather get both players, Rodrigo and Gyökeres. And I understand that because you're basically upgrading on the left wing and centre forward. And I get why. Isak is very tempting, though. And look, if he is available, which I still don't know that he is, I think Liverpool are going to put money in. I don't know that we're going to, but I think Liverpool test the waters. I think they'll start 100, maybe go up to 120 towards the latter end of the window. And then I think it'll be very interesting to see if that is something that Newcastle want to go with. What are you laughing at?
I was just looking at this poll. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Oh,
I don't
right.
know what, I'm looking at. I'm thinking to myself. I put down. Yeah, like Isak, and I'm sort of like, that's what I smiled. And I thought, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? If you've got Gyökeres and Rodrigo, that's a good combination, isn't it?
Well, I would actually vote Gyökeres and Rodrigo, but I keep flipping and flopping because I really like Isak. But I think them two would win us a trophy and take us across the line. I do. I really do.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no
I'm gonna go down that route then as well. Then, like,
you know, it's a very good question, very tough, but I don't think that you can look at Isak and say that one player. Let's, for example, say that he gets an injury for a couple of months. You've got your Rodrigo and Gyökeres there. Do you know what I mean? And I think, yeah, actually, it's got to be them two in it, really. But it is quite a difficult one. A difficult one. I will say, I still think Eze needs to come in alongside Rodrigo and Gyökeres for us to have a wicked window. But yeah, it's very, very tough. I mean, that's another one, isn't it? Do you want Rodrigo and Gyökeres or Isak and Eze? That's another one, And it's very, very. This is what I mean. It's quite easy to make our attack better,
And this is why we've got to be very, very smart in this transfer window. Everybody's got to be smart in it, because it's I think the window that makes or breaks us down. I'm sorry, it does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe we're moaning about things, and maybe they've got to be a little bit careful. I think that if you know what you got to get, go and just get it. And if it is Isak, you can't worry about if he's going to get injured or is this or it's going to be Gyökeres. Worry about this, worry about that. You just go and get it. Whatever you think's best, then that's it for me. But I do think it's a very, very important window. This, I think if I get this wrong, Dan, there's a lot of things going to happen at Arsenal next season, and I don't think it's all going to be great. I think there'll be lots of changes. So it's so important that they get this right. So important, and maybe they should take their time on it, even though we're a little bit nervous about it. But you can see why we are a little bit nervous about it. I think if we win the league last season, I don't think there would have been so much pressure on it. Listen, Liverpool have spent over 200 million now. Have they put themselves under a little bit more pressure
of course
by spending that money? I don't know. I think that they needed to do it as well. So,
well, look, one of them's not going to win the league. Do you know what I mean? City or Liverpool, and they've both spent unbelievable amounts of money. I mean, Liverpool are talking about spending 300 odd million. Yeah, in the last two windows. This season in January, Manchester City have spent an incredible amount of money. They spent 200 in January, and they're looking to spend another 200 to 300 in this window. That means Manchester City have to start winning trophies again immediately. It's not give them time and give them a few windows and give them a few seasons to
no, that's true.
They've got to go and do it. So there's serious pressure for those two. And people say to me, this ain't FIFA and this ain't Football Manager. Well, they're playing it. If you're going and play, if you say it ain't FIFA and it ain't Football Manager and start laughing, and then you look at Liverpool signing Wirtz, Kirkes, Frimpong, and then potentially going and getting Isak, well, that is playing FIFA, isn't it? So that is going on career mode and getting one of the best strikers in the Premier League, one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, two of the most up-and-coming wing-backs, /fullbacks, Mark Guehi at centre-back, one of the best upcoming goalkeepers from Valencia and Mamardashvili. Liverpool have been playing FIFA. Sorry, Arsenal now need to go and play FIFA, people. I know they don't want to because apparently it's not FIFA, but we have to, mate. Yeah, and playing FIFA isn't getting Kepa and Norgard. That isn't playing FIFA. Yeah, so we now need to go and play FIFA in the attacking areas. And if it ain't Isak, cool. If it's got to be Gyökeres. If it ain't Rodrigo, then it's got to be Eze and Rodgers. Let's go and have a bloody good window for the first time. Let's sit back and go, over to you, Mikel, because that is a bloody good squad. That's what I want to be saying, Lee, when this window shuts.
100%. Could not agree with you more. Arsenal have got to, go in big now with it. I look at the other areas. We've gone big in other areas of the field. You know what I mean? If you've been really honest about it, Dan, we spent big on central defenders. And you think, have we bought defenders? 50 million on Ben White was big money. You know what I mean? We've spent big in midfield. Kai Havertz at 65 million. Declan Rice at 105 million. We invested very heavily in goalkeepers over the past few seasons. We have to invest properly now in the forward areas. We do, and we've been fortunate that we've got two very, very good wide players at our football club that cost us hardly anything. Hardly anything, right? You know what I mean? We didn't go out to go and buy a wide right player because we had one coming through the ranks. We didn't have to go and buy a wide left player because we had one already on our books at low and nurtured to what he is now. We'll find out next season if they're the real deal to get us over the line. But you know what I'm saying? So realistically, we spent a bit of money on Jesus. We had money that we made money on Eddie, sold him for a good fee. So it is now time to invest, not just 1, 2, maybe 3 in that forward attacking lineup. Dan, I think we spent.
I think we need 3. I've got to be honest. I think we need 3: a striker, a winger, and an attacking midfielder. And if it's Eze, Rodrigo, Gyökeres, we've had a blast of a window. If it's going to be Sesko and Eze, no one else, that ain't a blast of a window, judges. It ain't.
No, it's not going to win you the. I get that, like, you know. I think you know, we spent money on Jesus, haven't we? And we spent money on Trossard. You know, both okay, but not going to take you over the line, like, you know.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that, you know, if you buy Eze, you know, is he an out and out wide player? I'm not so sure he is. He does a different job. I think I look at him as a more sort of a Robert Perez sort of type player that can go past people and all that. I'm not saying he's like Robert Perez, but you know what I'm saying. Robert Perez wasn't the dynamic wide player that everybody thought we wanted at the time, you know what I mean? But he sort of replaced Mark Overmars, but was a completely different midfield player to what we had. Wide player to what we had. So it's not necessarily going, all right, we definitely need
light for light.
You know, maybe that we need to just have something different. That's
why I like Eze, because I think Eze is a bit different.
That's what I'm saying. He's not an out-and-out wide player, but he could be the difference between us breaking a team down and not breaking a team down. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking at, you know?
Yeah.
And it could be that we play him and Odegaard as a 2 instead and just one hole.
It could be games. Could be games we do that. Yeah. No, you're right. I think there could be games that we, you know, if we signed Eze, that we could play him alongside Odegaard as well. And big up to Tops, by the way, for the raid. Thanks so much, my bro. Really appreciate you sending everyone over here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're following Tops as well. T Chanzo Sports here, so make sure we follow him. Big up to him. And big up to you guys as well. Hit the like button. Okay, Lee, last couple of bits is the Mosquera deal that's come out today, suggesting that we're going to be looking at getting that done around about the start of July, which obviously 1st of July is tomorrow. Romano suggested yesterday that we're going to be submitting a new bid for him. We hope to complete a deal for around 20 million euros. I think it's about 17 million pounds. We did open the bid with 14 million euros, but Arsenal have already reached full agreement on personal terms with the player. So we've obviously reached terms with him. I'm not going to lie to you. I like this deal, and I'll tell you why I like this deal. I think it's a player that we need positionally because he can come and cover for Saliba. And I also think that a player can learn off Saliba and Gabriel. He's happy to come in and be back up and compete with both of them. And also it's an Andrea Berta signing where he was pivotal towards it. So there ain't much I dislike about this deal, Lee. I've got to be honest. What about you?
No, you know what I mean? And people will go at me, oh, why are you happier with this one than, say, the Norgard one? Like, you know, the difference is he's 20 years of age, full of potential, will come in there as a backup, but eventually he'll be looking to push for the first team, like, you know, in a couple of years' time. So, and I do think that we needed to get somebody in to help out Saliba, like, you know. I think he played too many games last season. He broke down in the end because he's playing too many games. So it would be good to see him being rotated a little bit more than what he has in the last few years. And I think that would be a good signing as well, like, you know. And it gives us strength in the back where we've got like cover for Saliba now, 2 right side defenders. You could actually make that free if you want to put Ben White or Timber into that. But all of a sudden the defence is back strong again. Don't forget, if you're bringing in somebody like him, you've lost Tierney, like, you know what I mean? So it's not like for like what we were saying with the wide player. I think it's a good deal, like, you know what I mean? We've still got the numbers in the defence that we need, but in different areas.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's an excellent bit of business that I can see going forward for potential, and he can cover in Saliba. Not going to be going mad, so he's not going to be, you know, playing 25, 30 games. But Saliba, Timber, Gabriel all ended the season injured, Lee.
Yeah.
So Gabriel on the operating table, Timber, they're talking about having a protocol operation, and Saliba couldn't play the last few games because of injury. So you look at that now, and I don't really understand, for me, why this is not seen as an okay signing. He's 20 million euros, 17 million pounds. He comes in as a squad backup, doesn't he? The difference between him and Norgard and Kepa is Kepa is a huge question mark about how good he actually is, because he was an absolute. I mean, he's like known globally as being one of the worst ever goalkeepers bought by Chelsea for 75 million pounds. And then you've got Norgard, who's coming at 31, soon to be 32. That hasn't really set the world alight in the Premier League. So I can understand why there's question marks for this one. This one is younger. There's potential. He's highly rated. Bert has recognised him. He's coming in and happy to sit on the bench and be back up. I think it's completely different, if I'm honest with you. And I'm cool with this one. I am. I genuinely do like this one.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. There's a different feeling around it, isn't there, to be honest, to this one than the others.
Yeah, I think so. The other bit of news as well before we come to a close is Thomas Partey. It's been confirmed that he's leaving. I don't think it's a huge shock anymore, Lee, if I'm honest. No. I think this one, David Ornstein stated that he'll leave Arsenal when his contract expires today. Although the likelihood outcome become clear in recent weeks, a final call's now been made with the club set to confirm his exit early next week. I mean, look, I've got to be honest with you. I don't like this one at all. However, I'm not going to lose my mind over it, because he's not a player that, it's not like we're losing Saliba. But at the same time, I've got to be honest, something tells me we might regret this one. Now, I didn't think we would ever say this, but when we lost Granit Xhaka, I thought, right, well, at least he played well, but at least he's easy to upgrade upon. We haven't upgraded Xhaka. How we're going to upgrade on Partey, I don't know, because he's 10 times better than Granit Xhaka. So are you worried about this at all, bruv?
Yeah, I am worried about this, because, you're losing one of the best free midfield players in that role that he does, probably in Europe. I thought he was an outstanding footballer. Made it look easy. Very, very good player. And, these guys are hard to replace. We've been fortunate that we've had Patrick Vieira, Gilberto in that role. But then we found it very, very difficult to replace, so he's definitely up there. One thing I will say, someone said it yesterday to me as well, that, in the 5 years that he's been here, we've not won the league. So maybe like a different, not better player, but a different way of playing may just be.
Well, that's the thing. Zubimendi is different. He is different. He's obviously a little bit. He's got more legs than Partey, which is obvious because he's younger. But also in terms of the way that he passes through the lines, and if you just watch the two players, they're not similar at all, in my opinion. I actually think Zubimendi's more similar to Jorginho. Well, not Jorginho now, but Jorginho when he first come on the scene with his spraying his passes and keeping the ball moving like that. From what I can see, anyway, it's only by using the eye test of that. I haven't watched enough of Zubimendi to see how good he's going to be. People say, other than Rodri, he's the best central defensive midfielder in the world. I'm not sure if I go that far, to be honest, but I do think he's a very good player. I don't think it's a massive upgrade on Partey, and I do think it's a big kind of question mark for me. I look at it. I mean, big up to Aaron in the chat, because Aaron actually sent me this. £414 million spent on our midfield. We're still not sure about it. 80 million spent in our attack. That is a worry, Judge, isn't it?
It is. We've neglected up front. We've neglected it up there. I did say it with a little bit of tongue in cheek today. But don't forget, we said, part of our front three is Martinelli and Saka. We haven't had to go and spend 150 million on Saka. We've been fortunate. So, but when you look at the 80 million, and that's how much you spent, what's that? Obviously on Jesus and Trossard. Then is that where the 80 millions come from? Anybody else?
The 80 million is Jesus and Trossard, I think, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Havertz. People will say Havertz, but
Havertz was brought as a midfield player. Let's get that right. So, listen, I think that there's nothing wrong with that, because I remember we bought Lauren as a wide right player and ended up being a right back. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's been neglected. You can tell it's been neglected. When you have a look at the defence and how much you spent on that and on spent on. And listen, you build from the back. I get that. You sort your defence out, then your midfield, goalkeeper, defence, midfield. Then you go into your attacking players. But You know, it's got to be the neglect has got to stop this season, Dan. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, and we've got to go and see what happens in the coming weeks. We're being told, judges, that tomorrow is the day that we start to announce stuff. So 1st of July, PSR all goes out the window. PSR starts again. I'm still not sure what that means and how that works, but it means in black and white that Arsenal can go and spend. So I expect to see this next week or two Arsenal very busy. Let's see what happens there. Look, we're going to send you over to Jamie Phillips because me and him are about to talk about Arsenal and Liverpool's window. And if we believe that they are the two clubs at the moment that are going to be busiest, it looks like City are going to overtake us, that's for sure. So we're going to talk about that, Isak and other rumours. So go and stay tuned and make sure you show Jamie some love because me and Jay will be chatting. Lee, I'll let you say goodbye to everyone, mate.
Yeah, well, just, remember, have a nice cold beer today, Hells, have a good one, But listen, get the sun cream on and all. It's dangerous out there today, I've even had to wear my hat. Be careful in that sun. Enjoy. Get over and watch Dan. And if you're not going to do that, well, in fact, do that and have the Wimbledon on in the background. What a life we've got. Have a good one.